Hey, what's going on? What's going on? It's your boy Joshua Okpara, and I want to welcome you to another Purpose podcast. In this episode, I want to talk to you about AI, anxiety, and ambition. Navigating life in a digital age. AI, anxiety, and ambition. Navigating life in a digital age. It is fair to say that nowadays AI is a new trendy thing. Of course, AI has been going on for a while now, but it's a new trendy thing. I work in a high school, and if I tell you the amount of kids that use AI to write everything, I think now we're getting to a point where people might start using AI to ask, what day is it? What time is it? Chat GPT is the new Google. And it's an interesting time that we are seeing where you can do things that used to take hours and seconds. But all of these things, every good thing has a side effect. The same way every medicine has a side effect. Of course, they say the side effect a little bit lower and a little bit faster, but everything has a side effect. And so I want to talk about what are these side effects that comes with accelerated digital age that we're in right now, where things are going faster than we can count. Data is coming faster than we can think, and the average mind actually don't get time to rest. How do we navigate that? I want to talk to you about the pressure to keep up. Whether it's seeing somebody on social media get a degree overnight, seeing somebody on TikTok get viral overnight, whether it's seeing somebody get married, or you constantly seeing the highlights of an individual life, there is that natural tendency to feel like I'm behind. Am I valued? Do I have anything to offer? Nowadays, it's hard to tell the difference between what's real and what's fake. If you search up an average picture or an average title on Google now, you can't tell the difference between what's AI and what's actually real. And so there's a natural tendency for the normal human being to feel like, am I going to be needed in the future? If everything that I used to work for, all my skill set, my degree that I earned, is all of that going to be needed when just a click of a button, I can be replaced. The pressure to keep up. There's a quote I've always remembered. It says, comparison is the thief of joy. And I want to argue that in 2025, it's not just a thief of joy, it is a thief of peace, of purpose, and even productivity. According to Deloitte's 2023 survey, nearly 59% of Gen Z and 58% of millennials say that they are feeling burnt out, not just from doing work or job or school. They're feeling burnt out because they're trying to keep up. That is nearly 6 out of 10 people walking around drained, not because they're not doing enough, but rather because they're actually doing too much for the wrong reason. AI is great. There's some benefits to AI. As a creative now, I remember back then when I first started publishing books, it would take me hours. I know creatives who would literally would take them hours to brainstorm ideas for book covers, for captions, and for content. And now with AI tools like ChatGPT and many other tools like Canva's Magic Design, you can generate an idea in seconds. And that's the helpful side. It saves you time, it saves you energy, it sparks inspiration, and it opens the doors for people who didn't think they were creative enough to start writing. But here's the flip side. Some freelancers, writers, and designers, they've lost clients because businesses are replacing them with AI. And that's the threat, you see. It's not just about being replaced, it's the feeling of feeling devalued. Like all the years I spent learning a craft are now being replaced by a tool that never sleeps. It doesn't go off. 24/7, you can literally type in and get an idea. And so, why would somebody want to hire you to give them ideas when they can get ideas constantly by a tool that is ever evolving? And so now we're in this weird space where AI can empower you or it can completely erase you depending on how you engage with it. Even in ministry as a pastor, AI is making waves. I know pastors and leaders who use AI to craft up sermon outlines. They use it to design flyers or brainstorm even Bible study topics. And honestly, it can be super helpful. You can have a creative assistant that works 24/7 for you. But here's where it gets tricky. I've also seen this shift where some leaders are dependent on AI more than the Holy Spirit. Summons that once came from the place of prayer are now coming from a place of a prompt. And that's the threatening part because it can slowly replace the process that produces power. And so the question now becomes, is the tool serving your calling or is it starting to shape your calling? You see, AI can help, but it should never replace that place of intimacy, that place of studying, that place of seeking God for a word. And so we're dealing with AI anxiety and ambition, navigating life in the digital age. I want to ask this quick question. Have you ever felt like you were behind based on what you're seeing online? Have you ever had the natural fear of, am I still needed? What doors are going to be open for me? Is my degree still even important? Is my title still needed? Am I still valuable? And many times we're dealing with this concept of where do I go from here? How do I navigate this digital age? How do I navigate something that almost seemed like it came overnight, even though it's been building up for ages? And here is how you do it. I want to talk to you about staying grounded in an accelerated world. Listen, first thing that is necessary for you, for your health, for your well being, for your soul, you must create a digital boundary. Many of us, we have physical boundary where if somebody was pinching you or somebody was punching you or somebody was slapping you, you know to create a distance between them and you. If somebody in your family was aggravating to you or they were persecuting you in any shape or form, you know to ignore their call. You know to ignore them because the data they are presenting to you is not fitting for your current mood. But the unfortunate reality is many of us don't realize that that same data, although physically we can easily withdraw ourselves from it, in your mind also sees that social media, that interaction with the online people as data. So many of us, we create boundaries physically, but in our mind, mentally, there is no boundary. So I'm on my phone and I'm constantly getting data 24/7. I'm constantly scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. And many times that scrolling and scrolling and scrolling has created fear in our mind, has created anxiety in our mind, has also created a false ambition where you feel like you are behind because you see someone whose life based on social media seems accelerated. And so it's a natural tendency to feel like I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what my life is called to do because I see Mr. A, Mr. B, Mr. C. I see all of them 24/7. And I want to be honest with you. Nobody on social media posts their lowlights. Even when you watch sports, I'm one of those people who I love to watch sports, and I don't watch the game. I like to watch the highlight of the game. You know, the parts of the game that spark interest, the part of the game where the crowd is cheering, the part of the game where I get to see the points immediately, and I don't have to see what it took to get the point. That's what social media does to many of us. Everybody posts their highlight on social media. Look at what happened. Look at my success. Look at my car. Look at my house. Look at my wife. Look at my husband. Look at my kids. My kids got an A in school. My kids are successful. My husband is successful. No one posts their lowlights because the lowlight doesn't get likes. The lowlights doesn't get shares. The lowlights doesn't go viral unless you're doing something comedic or a prank. Everyone posts their highlight. And so, what does it do to your mind as an individual who spends every day dealing with the lowlights and the highlights of life, but spend hours daily watching everybody else's highlights? What does that do to your mind? What does that do to your mind? The average person becomes depressed. The average person loses interest in doing what they want to do because they always feel like they are behind. They always feel like nothing I would do can amount to anything because Mr. A, Mrs. B, Mr. C, Mrs. D, all of everything they are doing seems to be successful. Every morning they wake up and it's perfect. Every afternoon they wake up and it's perfect. Every night they're constantly working. And we're in a digital age where we can't tell the difference between realistic and a false ambition. And so, how do you stay grounded when dealing with this digital age? We need a digital boundary. If you don't have anybody that can hold you accountable to your social media presence, you need to find one immediately. There needs to be a time where you come out of that social media world and you enter into the new world. There has to be a time where you can say to yourself, I can't watch this. I can't scroll this. I can't do this. You need time for human interaction and you need time for self reflection. And so, my challenge to you is number one, create time for human interaction and create time for self reflection. If you do not work for social media or work on social media or get a job or client or anything regarding anything social media, you don't need to spend more than 35 minutes a day on it. If you say, well, Pastor, Mr. Josh, I have to make a post, then it shouldn't take more than 35 minutes to make a post. You need a digital boundary. Now, understand this cannot be realistic for some people. For some people, their bread and butter comes from social media. And even in that case, you still need a digital. You cannot spend all day receiving data without having a time and a space to self reflect. Number two, to the person who may feel like, I don't know if I'm going to be needed, I want to tell you something that's so beautiful. Purpose is so much bigger than the change in ages. You see, purpose, when it's understood in its core element and principles, it will always outdate. It will always outlive every new change. One of the key indicators of an individual that may not know their purpose is with every new change, they feel like they are no longer needed. But I want to come in here to challenge that theory that with every new change for the individual that understand his or her purpose is an opportunity to adapt and to innovate. Your purpose is grounded in you. Your purpose is defined as the reason why you were created. Once you understand that concept of your purpose, the reason why you were created, you have the opportunity to find new ways, new methods of being innovative and conveying said purpose. You don't need to quit who you are. You simply have to find a new way to be who you are. I don't have to change me being a communicator. I don't have to change me being a person whose purpose is to develop leaders. I may have to move from speaking publicly to now developing leaders online, whether it's through this podcast or whether it's through speaking or writing books. But who I am does not change. I simply improve and innovate. So you may be wondering, how do I navigate life? How do I navigate? Am I still needed? Does my purpose still matter? And I came here to remind you of one word. Yes, it does. Yes. The question is, how do I use this digital age to convey my purpose? Even in this digital age, your purpose can still be conveyed. Rather than kill your purpose to have to create a false ambition, ask yourself the question, how do I navigate my purpose and convey it in this digital age? And the last thing I want to remind you, there is a difference between real rest and passive scrolling. Your mind does not rest when you're doing this. With every scroll, you are putting more data in your brain. With every scroll, you are giving yourself something to think or to impute. And you may feel nothing physically. Your eyes and your hand may just be coordinated to just be scrolling back and forth. But with every scroll, you are literally receiving data to your brain. And many of us, unfortunately, we sleep, but we never rest. And my encouragement to you today is to find rest. Find rest. You need time for human interaction and self reflection. I want to encourage you as you're on your way, driving your car, in your home, in your house, that you are not behind. You are simply becoming. You are not behind. You are simply becoming. I want somebody to write that down on a notepad, on your phone, wherever you can write it. I am not behind. I'm simply becoming. I want you to leave a review on this podcast. I want you to share this podcast with someone who may be feeling overwhelmed. And I want you to subscribe and see you next week for our next episode on the Purpose Podcast. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye. Help me to be all that you called me to be. Help me to see what you see. I wanna be better. Lord, help me to be all that you called me to be. Help me to see what you see. Oh Lord, I wanna be better. Sometimes I don't know what better looks like, but Lord, this I know. I want my life to be just like your life. Oh yeah, this I know for sure.